Domestically, we are seeing what countries will do to increase their influence and control where they simply cannot invade. I talked about Russia and Beijing, for an example. These are actively interfering in our elections. We know that is a fact. Kenny Chu, who I sat with in the last parliament, isn't here because of the interference from Beijing. Foreign state-owned enterprises have acquired interest and control in many Canadian companies, intellectual property and other assets. They are gathering data daily on our citizens, and they are exploiting that data. Just today, Mr. Speaker, the front page of the national newspaper, the Globe and Mail, the headline, Huawei continues to file patents for research work done with Canadian universities after Ottawa's restrictions. It goes on to say the Chinese tech company Huawei is still seeking patents for research it conducted in partnership with publicly funded universities in Canada, almost 2 years after Ottawa began restricting funding for academics. In connection with foreign states considered national security risks, Huawei has filed patent applications for research on 5G wireless, artificial intelligence, which has been brought up in this House in the last hour, semiconductors, and the optical communications, done in collaboration with academics and investors at the University of Toronto. We've seen it at Queen's, University of BC, Western University, and also McMaster University. And all of those universities, they say, are fulfilling pre-existing contractual partnership agreements. But let's make no mistake, all the commercial rights to this property, which has been invented by Canadians and funded by Canadians, are now owned exclusively by Huawei. This is what we're talking about in C-34. And I have more to say on Huawei and their what they have done in my province of Saskatchewan. We'll come to that in a second. However, the legislation still does not go far enough. The NDP Liberal government rejected amendments that would have further improved this legislation and properly and fully to protect Canadians. One of those rejected amendments, one I think is crucially important, would have modified the definition of a state-owned enterprise to cover companies or entities headquartered in an authoritarian state like China. I understand the potential concerns with such amendment. The nationality of the company should not usually be sufficient to label them a state-owned enterprise. And this is where I was going to get to Huawei and the reduction of the industry minister a couple of years ago not making a decision on Huawei. I think it's cost my province of Saskatchewan $200 million. They were invested into Huawei for G4 in the province of Saskatchewan. They were waiting for the Minister of Industry to make a decision on Huawei. It took him months and months. Finally, he makes the decision, but the province of Saskatchewan is into Huawei for over $200 million. So they had to put on the brakes and then reinvent themselves. So this has cost Saskatchewan and others, I think, in this country millions of dollars. This is something I think that, our allies and the Five Allies alerted Canada long before the minister made the change, and this has cost Canadians a lot of money. So thank you, Mr. Speaker. I just wanted to make those points. I am concerned with Huawei as they are taking information from these 5 universities still today, when actually Huawei should be out of this country long ago. Thank you very much.